What's up, everyone? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and we're all too familiar, unfortunately, nowadays with broken games, broken launches, broken patches, broken system softwares, broken everything. Really, it's horrible. It's a sad state we live in, unfortunately. But one thing that's been fairly persistent throughout the entire last generation of consoles and this generation of consoles is something that also doesn't seem to get talked about as much, or at least when it does, it's only, maybe at the launch of a game and then completely forgotten about, despite maybe possibly not working or never being fixed. And what that is trophies and achievements. So we all know what trophies and achievements are from the 7th generation for the Xbox 360, when Sony added them into the PS3 further on in its lifespan. The PS4, the PS Vita, the Xbox One, they all have achievements and trophies. So ever since pretty much launch of the Xbox 360 and whenever they were patched into the PS3, there have been broken achievements and broken trophies. And some of them have never been, some of them have been fixed but never retrofitted. So, for example, maybe you had to clear 1,000 rounds and you had already cleared 500, but the game wasn't counting it because the achievement was broken. And then they issued a patch and it set you to 0, but it would start actually counting it. So, stuff like that actually happened. So, there was non-retrofitted patches. There was ones that, say, would tally it a different way. So maybe you hit 1,100 matches and you only needed 1,000, but it never unlocked, and then the patch and you do one more match and boom, it unlocks. So there was stuff like that. There was stuff like ones that it was just basically sheer luck. There was a game on the Xbox 360. I won't mention names, but if the achievement didn't unlock for you, what you needed to do was delete your save file, recover your gamer tag to a date previously before you had first played the game, or first before that gamer tag had first played the game, and then try get it again. And if that doesn't work, you have to do it again and again. So it was all completely random. And that particular achievement has never been fixed, mind you. There's also another one off the top of my head. This one personally affected me. Well, actually, the previous one affected me too, but this one was more notable and more pissed me off. So again, I won't mention what the game is, but in one of the DLCs, there's essentially a kind of collectible system. So you'd have to go around and do something with up to 40 of these things that were laying around the maps. And significant amount of people were having issues that, you do whatever you had to do with all 40 of them, and it would only register as like 38. And the developer acknowledged this, and they said the way you have to do it is you have to disconnect from the internet, delete your save file, and go again, unlock it that way, and then connect online. Way too much of a pain in the arse. A lot of these achievements and trophies actually have workarounds. Some of them are a pain in the arse, some of them are not so much, but it's still not the point regardless. So I'm going to move on to the one that's actually caused me to make this video, because it's actually affecting me right now and it's annoying the fuck out of me. So The Last of Us, or specifically The Last of Us Remastered. Well, it's actually both of them. But when let's get into perspective. The Last of Us launched on PS3 in 2013, so that was over 2 years ago at this point. Now, when The Last of Us launched, obviously there's a bunch of collectibles and all that systems in the game. There's trophies for each type of collectible. There's one for all the manuals, there's one for all the optional conversations, there's one for all the shiv doors, there's one for all the collectibles, the Firefly tokens, there's one for each thing. But specifically over this entire time, and it seems the most recent report of the PS3 version having a broken one is about 2 months ago that I could find. Now, I'm sure that Naughty Dog haven't patched it since, like, I don't know, a year ago or whenever they released the last DLC. But the thing is that all the optional conversations, or at least all the ones that would count towards the trophy. There are a couple of extras that don't count towards it, but all the ones that would count towards the trophy, not all of them will be counted properly, despite completing them. And I mean, there's other things they say, get to the next checkpoint just to make sure it saves. Even with stuff like that, people were still having issues. And like I said, the most recent report of this was about 2 months ago, so apparently it may not have been fixed yet. There were workarounds for this. There's a temporary, not so much a temporary workaround, but one of the main ones would be can disconnect from the internet, disconnect your PS3 from the internet, and what you would have to do would be you delete all the patch data from, you clear the cache and delete the patch data from your PS3 while connected offline. So you would essentially go back from, I think it was version 1.1 or 1.2 or something like that. You go back from that to the base game, which would be 1.0, and then that should all work properly. So that's not the point. I mean, that's a pain in the arse workaround. There was another one that was temporary. What you could do is, as soon as you get one in game, you get an optional conversation in game. Wait about 15-20 seconds. Go into your statistics menu, see that it actually registered. If you do, continue on your game. If it didn't, restart the last checkpoint. Again, not much of a hassle, or at least not as much of a hassle, but still, it shouldn't have to be done. Now, so like I said, this was persistent on the PS3 version of The Last of Us, which launched over 2 years ago. Now, this one didn't affect me personally on the PS3, mind you. When I actually did I think it was my third playthrough to pick up all the collectibles and stuff, it worked perfectly for me. I got it all. I was connected online, had the most recent version of the game, and it managed to work perfectly for me. Now, having said that, after 2 different playthroughs on the PS4 version, with the most up-to-date version of the game on PS4, which launched over a year ago, it still doesn't work. So the first time, what I did was I used the same list I used on my PS3 version. So I used the same list, so there was no changes to that list. Checked it, made sure I got everyone as I went along. I had completely forgot about the statistics thing, but again, that's not the point. And once I got the final one in that playthrough and it didn't unlock, I was like, okay, this is bullshit. Then I said, maybe I have to get to the next checkpoint so the game autosaves. Did that. Didn't unlock. Finished the game anyway, just because I was near the end. So I went and finished the game. It didn't unlock after I finished it. So I was like, this is annoying me. So I went back, and this is the playthrough I'm on now. And this one really, really annoyed me. Because, once again, I had forgot about the statistic thing to check it every so often. But I know I mentioned it like 4 or 5 times now, but it's not the point. I shouldn't have to. And this game, don't forget, it launched over a year ago on the current iteration of the game. And it launched over 2 years ago on its original iteration of the game. And this problem has persisted across over 2 years, across 2 different generations. Still not fixed, mind you. I'm working my way through, about maybe 3/4 of the way through the game this time. And I'm going through the list, and this time I have done it differently. I've opened 4 lists, and I'm cross-checking all of them. I've got every optional conversation that counts towards the achievement, and so far I have every optional conversation that does not count towards the trophy. I know I said achievement there a second ago. Don't go mad at me, but it's the same thing. Anyway, I have absolutely every single one of them so far. The most current one that, after I was about halfway through the list, it reminded me, towards the bottom of one of them, it said, you can go into statistics and check. I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect, just to make sure. So, the most recent one I've just gotten was number 30. I go in, check my list, I have 28. Don't even have 29. I have 28. So, I mean, that's just bullshit. Game's been out over 2 years. Over 1 year if you want to just count this version of it, but that's still not good enough. So this game has been out over 2 years, across 2 different versions, 2 different generations, and it's still not fixed. I'm calling bullshit on that, Naughty Dog. That's all I can say. Fix your game. So, is Uncharted 4 going to have these issues? Is The Last of Us 2 going to have these issues? The Nathan Drake collection, is that going to have these issues? Now, just so people realize, I'm not specifically ganging up on Naughty Dog. I did mention other games at the start, and I'm expecting other games to have broken achievements and glitched statistic counts and all as well. Not just these. Halo 5 there you go, I'll throw in the biggest competitor. Halo 5 I'm expecting to have all sorts of broken shit at the same time as well. But either way, these things should not be broken. Not only should they not be broken in general, but these people, in a game that's so highly critically acclaimed, and they pride themselves on. And this thing is broken for over 2 years still. I know there's workarounds, not the point, shouldn't have to be done. So I just get annoyed. More broken shit, and it's more broken shit that people don't talk about. And I don't know even if I'm going to finish this playthrough at this point now. So I probably will, because I'm near the end. But I do want to go back, or well, part of the thing I wanted to do on this playthrough was to clear up the missing trophies. I wasn't going to take it online. I was just going to do the single player ones. But now that seems to be out the window. So fuck it. So anyway, let me know in the comment section below what you think about broken trophies, broken achievements. Have you ever been affected by one personally as well? Let me know all that in the comment section below, as well as just what you think about trophies, games, everything just being broken, and it's just bullshit. Let me know what you think of all that anyway in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, details in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the rest of the videos in my channel while I take this time to not play The Last of Us. Not as a point. I'm not doing it as a point, like as a message. I'm just doing it because I'm just so dejected to not be bothered anymore.